All right. So surprisingly, I had a couple of emails waiting for me this morning, and a couple more filtered in throughout the afternoon and early evening. But before I answer this question, I just want to go ahead and say that I'm not going to be putting y'all names out there if you email me or your email address or anything like that. Because the whole point is to create a safe space that you can ask me these questions. Like these questions, I really wish I could have gone with somebody and be like, hey, bro, what happens when I start taking tea? How do I tell people I'm trans? What happens after that? Like, I don't want y'all to be like, I can't send him no email, because the last dude that sent him an email, he said this dude's name online, and then his mother, his father, the dude he wanted to go on a date with, that woman he thought was fine, like all these people he weren't ready to know he was trans, found out he was trans. I'm not putting you on blast. Let's just get that out the way, all right? Unless you're transphobic and you come up in my email with some nonsense, then yeah, I'm publishing that thing on like the whitehouse.gov page. Like, well, there's going to be a petition for you. But, so, just to get that out there. So, I actually got this question. It was a common thread throughout some of the emails, and I'm going to do my best to answer these emails in the order in which they arrive. But if a bunch of you had this question, let's go ahead and try to kill a bunch of birds with this one little stone and this MacBook I got. And a little bit of internet access. So, the question generally was, when should I come out? And first of all, no one can tell you when to do that. You are the only person who can be like, you know what? It's time to tell people who I am. I'm going to do this thing. Look, like, you are the only one who can determine that. Like, your friends can't look at you and be like, man, you've been saying you trans for a long time, but I don't see you coming out to anyone. It's not their business. You come out when you're ready. But, you know, and I'm all for people being out and open if that's what they want to do. You know, I'm for it just because I think visibility is important, especially at this juncture, you know, with everything. But then again, some people don't want to, and there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe you want to start taking testosterone and not have to tell people. That's your business. You don't have to run around telling everybody that. Like, the only person who really needs to be concerned about that is the person you're dating, if you choose to date somebody. So, do you, as far as coming out and telling people when you want to do it? Like I said, you don't have to tell anybody. And you don't have to take testosterone. It doesn't take away from the fact that you're trans. But what I can say is that there's some things you need to take into consideration. Like, if you know the people in your life, you know your friends, you know your family, you know if you have the support group there, if at all possible, try to make sure you have a place to lay your head that night before you come out. All right? You need a place to sleep, you know. And I hate to say this, and it doesn't in any way mean you're denying who you are by thinking long term. You know, in your heart of hearts, you're like, man, forget this. I'm telling them this is who I am. They can deal with it. But I want you to have a place to sleep at night. I want you to have a place to rest. I want you to have food to eat. So, if you think perhaps, you know, your support system is going to reject you for this, and if it won't harm you emotionally to wait a little longer, then it might be wise to wait a little longer. But like I said, no one can tell you when you should or shouldn't come out. Like, when I was trying to figure it out, and I can only speak for myself, I was like, man, I'm in college. I cannot afford all these bills on my own. And what if I tell my mama, and my mama finds out? What if she disowns me, and suddenly I have to drop out of school and I don't have a degree and I can't be living like this? So I made the choice to wait until I graduated from college. Because at that point I was like, I got a degree. You know, if you don't want anything to do with me after that, at least I got my degree, I got my paper, I'll make it work. You know, so there are a lot of things you should take in consideration. Safety is really big. Like, who's around you when you decide that this is the time you want to tell people? You know, if these are people who are violent, who might hurt you, who might just do stupid stuff because people are ignorant and sometimes hateful because they don't know any better. And just be careful. Before you come out, be careful. Before you come out, evaluate your surroundings. Evaluate the people in your life. You know the people in your life better than anyone else. They have been there for God knows how long. Whether they're your family, friends you have picked, you know them. All right? And if there's a chance at all that they will harm you or kick you out, have a backup plan. And I say that for everything. I always have a backup plan. I do not believe in doing a thing without a backup plan. So if it's possible for you guys to come out and have, a fallback in case it goes sideways, then I suggest doing that. And as far as how to come out, again, that's your decision. You have to think about it. Like, what's best for you? All right, because your life is the one that's changing. They have to adapt to it. And a lot of times people have these messed up reactions is because they never really knew who you were. And suddenly they're having to reformulate who they thought you were in their head. And so then they want to take it out on you, which isn't right. Which is what parents do. You come and be like, hey, mom, dad, I'm not a girl. You guys got a son, so congratulations. Suddenly in their head, they're like, okay, so no wedding dresses for you? And what if we wanted you to have children? I guess you're not going to have those. But then they're not thinking right. Because you can still have kids if that's something you want. However they react to you, whatever they say to you when you come out, is about them. It has nothing to do with you. If they say hateful, venomous things, it has nothing to do with you. That's them. That's stuff they got to work on. That's stuff they got to figure out. There is nothing wrong with you. So, there's really no real advice to give as far as how you should come out. Other than be safe when you do. And if there's any chance that harm could come to you, think it through. And if you have a burning desire because psychologically, emotionally, you just can't handle people not knowing any longer, then tell them. I'm only asking that you be safe. Always be safe. And that's it. That's all I got. So if you guys have any other burning questions, anything you feel like you desperately need me to answer, drop me an email. I'll get to it. And remember, there's nothing wrong with you. No matter what people say. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Till next time.